you
Thank
back.
you.
I'm
Yes.
so glad you're feeling better.
Yes, I arose from the dead and I am back. I had to join my team for this last week. We're not sitting our starters.
I mean, it's our last Sunday morning, but we're
Facts.
going on the network next Friday. Don't get it twisted.
Right there with the big boys. All right, let's take a look at exactly what's at stake today and check out some playoff scenarios for Week 17.
Okay.
A lot of unanswered questions still.
Mostly seeding, right? And then interesting one about the Titans and their scenario, especially because Kansas City will have played before the Titans and the Texans play, and that would have some implications, but it's unlikely Kansas City
Most
will.
of the big games in the afternoon, but that 49ers Seahawks game, that's the best
For sure.
Sunday night season finale we've ever had.
Ever.
In the end, well, they only started about 06, 07, but yeah, I look back. Most of these are like Bengals, Jets,
Yeah.
a bunch of bad games. This is a good one.
Well, good week for it. All right, here we go.
Wow,
We start
go.
today in Dallas, where the Cowboys need a win and an Eagles loss to find their way back into the playoffs. Jane Slater starts our coverage on that one on the field.
Number of key injuries that we're keeping an eye on today, namely their starting quarterback Dak Prescott, who continues to deal with that injured throwing shoulder. Now, he didn't get any throwing in at practice this week, so that's a little concerning when you consider how it limited him against the Eagles the week before. There's also this one. Left tackle Tyron Smith, I'm told, is not expected to play. Now, that comes with a caveat. I was told they are going to put him out here during pregame warm-up drills and see how he does. It just doesn't look good. They did this against the Jets as well, and if you'll recall, he didn't play in that one, meaning Cam Fleming will be the guy that steps up instead. Now to Kim Jones with the Giants and Eagles game.
Well, thanks so much, Jane. You know, one of the intriguing matchups today here at MetLife Stadium is Fletcher Cox versus Saquon Barkley. Both are terrific players, obviously, and both remember a specific play from last season. Saquon was running down the sideline. He felt a defender to his side. He thought it was a defensive back. It was defensive tackle Fletcher Cox. Saquon said he learned a lot about Cox and his athleticism that day. Fletcher Cox told me, straight ahead, he can't compete speed-wise with Saquon. Fletcher said for him, it has to all be about angles. Now let's send it back to the studio.
Okay, so if the Eagles win, then they are in. So what has to happen for Philadelphia to get into the postseason?
Somebody needs to catch some passes?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean,
that could help.
Yeah,
right.
that
Well,
would
I mean,
be
who, right?
huge
Like,
for Philly.
no Zach Ertz, and they're already down like all of their players, right? So,
Yep.
Greg Ward Jr., welcome Alliance.
He's an upgrade on Nelson Aguilar.
Wow.
I think so. He's been good.
Yeah, Aguilar is hurt, so
Right.
it was absolutely an upgrade in that situation. I don't know if it's obviously against the Giants. It's not, and their secondary has been very generous. No more Jackrabbit. No, they're all figuring out what to do with that Giants secondary.
Yeah.
I think they'll figure it out by the Eagles. I don't think it's going to be pretty.
Yeah, but you think they get the W?
Carson Wentz has played his best when it's mattered, and I think that means a lot to this team and moving forward because he hasn't ever played in December. So, yes, they've shown up. Like, however they got to this big game at the end of the season, once they got there last week, you kind of saw the old Eagles team, like, respond to the moment that they have. I do think this is tough, though, for their defense. The Giants' offense looked last week as good as they have looked all season because they are as healthy as they've been all season.
Daniel Jones is throwing all the touchdown passes in that one.
You can see a lot of those young players for the Giants are just like trying to get better, so they're still giving it their all. They don't care that they're out of the playoff hunt, which could be scary for the Eagles.
Saquon Barkley again.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt to me that the Giants are going to put up points in this game, and I think it's going to be a very competitive game.
All right, well, let's get to picks. The Eagles are favored by 3.5. Cynthia, what's the model say?
24-20. Not the most comfortable win ever. It's not going to be pretty. With Zach Ertz out, that number went from 7 to 4. So that's a really big deal in this one because they're just like down so many bodies. So that's a big important factor.
Definitely not as comfortable, especially with so much playoff implications on it. I'm going to go with the Eagles, too. I think what we'll see from Carson Wentz is down the stretch. He puts this team on his back in like very important drives and makes all the right throws and gets the players that need to be involved to seal the win. And I think that happens again today.
Yeah, I'm with you. Dallas Goedert, to me, is the key. And I think he's shown he is good enough to be a leading receiver in a game like this. But I'm with you, Cynthia. I think it's about a 4 or 5 point win. It's going to be a fun one.
All right, so if the Eagles do lose and Dallas wins, then the Cowboys are in. Cowboys are favored by 12 points, I believe, Cynthia.
I think it might be
now.
12 and a half.
Yeah, it jumped on us. All right, so you tell
Dwayne
me,
Haskins isn't playing.
what does the model say?
The model, Well, the model likes the Cowboys to win this one. 12 points was a little bit too rich for the model, so 26-17, 9 points. I understand no Dwayne Haskins, but remember, Dwayne Haskins has been like a huge turnover generator for them as well.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, no Terry McLaurin. It's not gonna be. I don't think this was gonna be pretty either.
No.
Yeah, no, it's going to be ugly. I'm going to go with the Cowboys, too. Even though the Cowboys have their dysfunction, I think they're still much better than the Redskins. They get the W. And
You think it's by more than 12?
I don't think it's by more than 12.
Okay.
I
all
don't.
right.
I'm just not a believer in the Cowboys' ability to win big in a crucial game.
No, couldn't you see the Jason Garrett era ending in a blaze of disaster today where Washington wins this game? I think Dallas wins, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's a field goal game at the end. I mean, I loved what I saw to Dwayne Haskins the last few weeks, but Case Keenum came in there. He put up 21 points in the second half. He had a 99-yard drive to put them into overtime. I think he makes them a little more dangerous, and this might be a high-scoring game. No Tyron Smith with the Cowboys. I think they're going to be sweating it.
All right, well, the NFC East isn't the only playoff spot still up for grabs. The AFC's final wild card spot is also in play, and the Ravens will love nothing more than to play spoiler to their rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. With more on that one, let's go back on the field with Randy Moss.
So the Ravens need 93 rushing yards today to break the all-time NFL record for rushing yardage in a season. That's currently held by the New England Patriots from back in 1978, the year that the league switched to a 16-game schedule. If you go back historically and you look at average yards per game, back when the NFL had 14-game schedules and even before that, the Ravens are still in the top 10, but the number 1 and number 2 teams in that category would be the Buffalo Bills of 1973 and 1975, featuring O.J. Simpson. Now, this is not to denigrate the season that the Ravens have had, because it's been phenomenal rushing the ball. For example, average yards per carry, 5.57. Not only is that the best in the NFL this year by far, you have to go all the way back to the Cleveland Browns in 1963 to find a team with that many average yards per carry. 63, by the way, was the best year in the illustrious career of Jim Brown. Let's go to Tiffany Blackman in Houston.
Thanks, Randy. Well, left tackle Taylor Lewan said, "This is our playoffs." And for the third straight year, the Titans find themselves in the same scenario in their season finale. Win and you're in. Now, the Colts kept them out of the playoffs last year, and linebacker Rashaan Evans said they have to remember that feeling and use it to their advantage. Something else that could work to their advantage is the fact that the Texans will already know the result of the Chiefs game before they take the field. If the Chiefs win, the Texans are locked in as the 4 seed in the playoffs. And as Ian Rappaport reported last night, Houston's not going to take any chances and to expect several of their starters to be on the sideline. That could include Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Laramie Tunsil. And if Watson doesn't start, well, you can expect A.J. McCarron to make his first start since the end of 2015.
All right, so if the Titans win, Cynthia, they are in. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so we're looking at the Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans. What's sticking out to you guys?
I'm looking at Ryan Tannehill, and I know it's going to be the Texans' backups, but the way that he audibles and is so good on 3rd and short, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Yes, they've been making big plays with all their athletic guys, but I've kind of been admiring how he's developed, mentally, the maturation of a quarterback. And he's 30 years old, so you wouldn't expect it this late in his career, but he seems to be doing everything. He's one of the best 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I don't think that's that outrageous to say.
Well, obviously we're looking at, I'm not even really looking at much to do with Houston in this one. It's really all Tennessee. So the play action with Ryan Tannehill has been just this key source of strength for them. So his ability to, Derrick Henry being so good, and then their pass catchers really coming to their own, and all those heavy sets with all of their tight end use, the way that they kind of disguise the look, and then Ryan Tannehill just throws just a dime, and you're like, where was this?
Yeah.
It's really, you're right. He does look like, if you were to you were an alien, you drop down right now. You're like, Ryan Tannehill, top 10 quarterback in the league.
If they started him week 1, they'd have won this division.
Yeah. Very true. Easily, like running away. All right, let's get the picks here. The Titans are favored by 7.5. Cynthia, what's the model say?
So earlier in the week, I had a closer margin of victory because we didn't know what was going on with the Houston Texans. But now that we do know that they're going to be resting or probably not seeing a lot, just what Tiffany just told us with everything, it's become a much bigger lead. So for me, in this one, 26-17 is what it is now.
I like
26-17.
I'm going with Tennessee too. Obviously, the Texans are playing their backups, but even if the Texans played their starters with Deshaun Watson and were full strength, I still had Tennessee winning because I like the way this team plays in clutch situations and in games when it matters. So I think Tennessee definitely gets the W today.
I'm with you. I think they win easy, but they got to take care of their business. Things happen sometimes in these crazy games. I remember a Sunday night football game, a play-in game for the Titans on Week 17 where the Colts started Jim Sorgi. And they gave him all sorts of problems, the backups. So you never know. Sometimes the backups can be a little frisky. We'll see if A.J. McCarron is the new Jim Sorgi.
All right, well, I like it. All right, well, if the Titans do lose and Pittsburgh wins, then they are in.
That's right.
Cynthia, right now, this game is a pick-em. We got Ravens and Pittsburgh. A lot of backups playing in Baltimore. What's the model say?
The model says that the Steelers do, in fact, win this one against the Ravens backups. A 3-point win, 23-20 in this one. This is no pick against the Ravens at all. People on Twitter were so mad at me about this one. Like, you're not playing any of your starters. There's who? I'm going to stop being mad now, but 3-point Steeler win.
All right, I'm going to go with Baltimore still. It's a pick 'em. Watching the quarterbacks regress for Pittsburgh over the last couple of weeks, it doesn't give me much confidence to pick them, even in these
I
kind
think
of
their
situations.
defense could score a touchdown. Steelers' defense could get them the win in this one.
That's how they're going to have to do it. I have the Ravens winning too. I mean, there's nothing more. If Steelers fans are looking for disrespect, this is disrespect. We're saying the backups of the Ravens are better than your team. That's what we're saying.
Disrespect.
I'm with it. I mean, because you can only sit so many players. They're still going to be sending in the house. They're going to love to win this game.
All right, well, let's check out some more notable actives and inactives. These are all for the 425 games.
That Josh Jacobs one is massive. The Raiders without Josh Jacobs, and I know DeAndre Washington is solid enough, but they're just not the same team, and they're still hoping that they have a chance.
If there's significant changes, I'll of course tweet them out. But Week 17, this is what makes it so fun, right? You have to figure it out and then go back and figure it out again and then figure it out a third time or maybe a 10th time, just depends on how many times. But the Tyron Smith one, low key, that is a big deal.
Yeah.
Circle that one on top.
All right, circling Tyron Smith. You know what else we're circling? Patrick Mahomes, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to say the wagons to talk about Bills.
We could circle the wagons to talk about the Bills. All right, so here's Patrick Mahomes. We'll talk about him and a whole bunch more when we come back on Game Day View. All right, A-Rod's in the building, so you know what that means. trouble.
Do you think that he has patches because Danica Patrick was a race car driver and she had to wear patches on her thing? Yeah?
That's
no?
proper if you ask me.
That's a perfect segue. Thank you, host with the most. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, I think he's going to throw more than 2 touchdown passes. That's what the model says. I like it. Anything picking against the Lions, especially their secondary, is something where my heart will also be in alignment with my math. So more than 2
They have not
passes.
blitzed since week 4.
That's
not a true stat, but that's what it feels
Do you think that they know? Unconfirmed.
You're not the analytics expert.
Sources say they have not blitzed since then. Oh, hello.
Hello, got the sombrero popping off.
I mean, look, he always wears a sombrero. Detroit, obviously known for its sombreros.
Yep.
It's a great situation here. And he's going to score a touchdown in this matchup. That will have him tied for a franchise record. We're looking at a lot of fun record-setting ones here in these proper performances. And so Aaron Jones, that touchdown,
it's a playoff game for them. I think that needs to be made clear. They're playing for everything. They win this game, they skip the first round of the playoffs. They might have home field advantage. If they lose it, they're playing next week, so that's massive.
Huge massive. So Christian McCaffrey, if he has 67 receiving yards, then he gets to 1,000. So in my model, he absolutely gets over 67 receiving yards in this matchup. It's not a great weather day, and the Saints are good versus the run. But this is not run. This is receiving. So 67 receiving yards. He's basically turned into a wide receiver.
I like it, man. I mean, Saints are going to be motivated to try to stop him, but it's not going to work because they're just going to throw every pass play to him.
The coach already said, we want to get Christian that number.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, Saquon Barkley number, more than 89 rush yards. He's a milestone there, too. So all these milestones, my model says this happens. Saquon Barkley will have more than 89 rush yards. Again, Eagles not a great rushing opportunity to rush on them, but it's all about volume in this matchup.
Get him to 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm amazed he's not to 1,000 already.
Yeah, that is crazy.
You know why? They haven't been on offense very often. One more. New York Jets. You ready for this? No Tre'Davious White. You know what's going to happen? Jamison Crowder will score a touchdown.
Okay.
Isn't that exciting?
I see it.
I would try to make that really exciting.
That was exciting.
Okay.
I love slot receiver
And Jets
play,
want this one. You know that Jace wants that 7th win, get to 7-9, finish up 6-2 in the back half, and he's feeling pretty good. All right. Sure, some shots around here.
Yeah.
You want to win the West, you win this football game. Garoppolo going to throw a middle, caught by Gore, dives into the end zone. Ball is out. Clowney goes the other way. He's in. Hollister reaches up with one hand as he's falling backwards. The handoff to Chris. He's in. Ball came out late, and it's a touchdown. So we're going to overtime. Allowed for Hollister. Intercepted. This to win the game. He shanked it left, and there's hope yet for the Seahawks.
Russell Wilson, he's got him right where he wants him.
And that kick is good. What a game. The Seahawks win in overtime.
All right, we are hoping that the sequel lives up to the original as the 49ers head to Seattle to battle it out with the Seahawks. Team, what are you looking forward in this matchup?
I know, the low-hanging fruit is Marshawn Lynch, and we'll get to him. But the other injury that makes a lot bigger deal to the Seahawks is at left tackle. I know they're without Chris Carson. You can get a running game if you can block, but Dwayne Brown's not coming back. And I feel like the left tackle absence just accentuates what's been a terrible pass-protecting team all year, even with Dwayne Brown there. Yeah. And I worry about that when they're playing the 49ers.
I'm with you, too. I'm going to kind of extend that also to the defense. So Jadeveon Clowney said, there's, quote, no way I'm not playing in this one. But if he's not healthy, he could be playing in it, but, is that going to be super...
Is he effective?
What's going to happen with that? Because you've seen, pressuring Jimmy Garoppolo in the beginning of the season was a key to trying to figure out how to beat the Niners. So in this matchup, especially now, because the Niners have everything to play for as well, right? Home field versus road games. And this is a big one in terms of seeding. One of these teams is going to go on the road probably to win against whoever wins what? The NFC East is probably most likely who they're playing. So that one for me in this matchup, seeing who's healthy it's really fun to talk about Marshawn Lynch, but their defense is just missing everyone.
Let's get to the Marshawn Lynch of it all.
That's what we came for.
Played.
You know why we're here.
And he's been out for what, a year and a half now, more than that. And didn't even play that much before that. As an ex-player, can you imagine? I know they say
shots in the
he's been working out the last few weeks to maybe get ready, but can you imagine what it would be like coming back? Is that possible? How can he do it?
You know what? I've thought about this long and hard because I've been thinking about it literally all week, right?
Did you get some calls?
I did. I got some calls, and the Seahawks called me to run the rock, and I'm like, well, no, I have obligations on Sunday mornings. But for a veteran to come back, and it's really the ideal scenario for Marshawn Lynch, because as you get older, as you get to the 30s, the 31s, 32s, 33s, you don't lose that ability. what happens is you lose the ability of duration of the season. Like, it's hard to put together 22 weeks of football at 32 because you don't bounce back as fast. So this is honestly an ideal scenario for Marshawn Lynch because he probably still is the same Marshawn Lynch we remember, and he only has to be that for a 4-week period.
Wow.
I want nothing more than for him to just go off on, like, it's going to be so funny, especially because there's all those, like, him taking shots in the parking lot, like, with fans at the Raiders game, like, 2 weeks ago or something. And then some reports that he's been doing this, like, MMA training to, like, have people simulate, like, kicking him, so it's, like, more like game stuff. Like,
oh, man.
So funny. Like,
he was taking shots in parking lots while he was playing, so it's good. All right, so let's get the picks here. The 49ers are favored by 3, Cynthia. What do you got?
Okay, so in this one, I want to make sure that I'm still on top of everything here.
Yeah, a lot of change
there's a lot of change going, but 5-point win in this one, 25-21, that's a 4-point win. 4-point win in this one, 25-21.
Okay.
And the 49ers take care of business.
And I'm going 49ers too. As exciting as Marshawn Lynch is, I just don't think Seattle is going to sweep the 49ers this year.
Right.
And I think the 49ers get the W because they realize what it means in this division.
I'm going with the 49ers winning by a touchdown, and it's one of those logic versus, illogic, like magic, because the Seahawks aren't in the same ballpark as the 49ers. They've outscored their opponents by 12 points this year.
Yeah.
That's less than the Buccaneers have.
That's wild.
The 49ers have outscored their opponents by more than 160 points. They're a better team. They deserve to get that 1 seed, so I think they'll do it.
There you go.
All right, well, how about we go to the NFC North? So we have the Vikings who are resting people. So the Bears and the Vikings right now, we see that the Bears are favored by 3 points in this matchup. Greg, who are you going with?
I am going with the Bears. When you trot out your backups, and we're hearing Anthony Barr is inactive, and a number of starters, not just
Kendricks,
Kirk Cousins.
Barr, Dalvin Cook. I mean, there's just
the Bears
tons.
are a 7-8 team. I think they can beat some backups.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but the Bears are also playing backups. So, I'm letting you know the
That was a
Vikings.
shot.
That's like a
Bear fans.
figurative.
Matt Tinton, our producer,
as
are you
of next
listening to
year,
the
both
shot
of
he
these
just took at
quarterbacks
you?
will be backups. So I'm going with the Vikings still, man. I don't care. I don't care what the model says.
We were back in the green room, and you asked the question, is Mitchell Trubisky playing?
Are they sitting Trubisky?
And the answer was yes, and you said, well, then I'm not picking them.
Then I'm going with the Vikings.
My model actually kind of agrees with you.
Look at that.
Okay,
Me and
so
the model.
you want to play Boone if you're playing him in fantasy, and I have a 1-point win for the Vikings, 21-20. So it's a very slim win.
There you go.
Another playoff team who's sitting starters today, the Buffalo Bills. It sounds like they will start Josh Allen and a lot of their other starters, but maybe they're not going to finish the game. Matt Barkley comes in. The Jets are favored by 1 in this game.
The Jets are favored?
Or the Bills are favored by 1 in this game.
Okay, I was going to say, like, when the model picks an upset, don't you dare.
Yeah, they shouldn't be, should they?
No, they shouldn't. I have 21-19 in this one. For the Jets, I think the Jets are taking this one very seriously, and I think the Bills, they can't change their seeding, they're the 5. They're locked. They can lock that up. That's already done. So they're going to keep a nice flow, but with no Tre'Davious White, maybe we can see, that's where that Jamison Crowder touchdown comes in, so.
I like the Bills too. I picked the Bills. This is the one I'm most uneasy about. For the same reason you said, because the Jets are like
you're like coin
fighting
flips?
in this.
Coin flips?
It's coin flip status.
It's a coin flip.
I'm going to stick with the Bills because I'm hoping Josh Allen plays more than 2.5 quarters.
Right. I don't think he will. I think the Jets find a way to win. But then again, the Matt Barkley, Josh Allen drop-off might not be as big as Bills fans wish it was. Matt Barkley's fine.
It's not about that. There's no Devin Singletary. It's just like how many players are you going to sort of rest and treat it like a preseason game before it really matters.
All right, next up we got the Colts and the Jags. This one also has a lot of implications for the AFC playoffs. Colts are favored by, 6.5? 6.5. Cynthia, what's the model say?
Yeah, I have the Colts winning this one very handily. I think the Jags have some interesting things going on. 26-18 in this one. That's 8 points. So I think a nice 8-point win. I don't think it's going to be, that is not a super high-scoring game.
Yeah. I mean, you don't get the most out of your team when the reports come out that everybody's fired. That's not how people respond.
The report is Doug Marrone,
the report, and also we saw like Leonard Fournette has the flu, and there's a number of.
There was already questions. I'm going Colts. I think they
I'm
beat
taking
them down.
Colts. Get to 8-8. They deserve it.
There you go.
Okay, so all right, this is the interesting one. The Raiders, if they win,
they win,
so they need to beat the Broncos. Then the Texans need to beat the Titans. The Ravens need to beat the Steelers. The Colts have to beat the Jags.
Yep.
Okay.
And then one of the other following things that Bears, Lions, Chargers, or Patriots win because that's the strength of victory right at the end there. So what on earth do you think is going to happen?
I don't think the Raiders are going to win.
All
so
that,
that's
and
the
then the Raiders
hardest
lose.
part. You know,
So step one doesn't happen.
yeah, because they're
for
they're
one.
going on the road against a team that's playing pretty well. I think the Broncos have been a better team this year, and they're at home, so I'm taking them. Even though their record's worse, I think they're better than the Raiders.
Broncos are favored by 3.5 in this matchup.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs, doubtful.
Yep.
That's the last we've
their
seen
whole
on
team.
him. That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
I still think he wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He should.
Even if he doesn't play, but
Josh Jacobs is the only thing I love about the Raiders, to be honest.
He's not
I'm
there.
just not a fan of like their team and like when you can depend on them, when you can. So even with all those scenarios, when I look at that, I'm like, you're right. The first thing that needs to happen, Raiders win. It's not gonna happen. So
okay,
it won't
so
maright.
I have a 2-point Broncos win. I'm totally with you.
There you
We're
go.
all in
In agreement.
23. 20, wow, that means that the Raiders
Feels
are for
good.
sure going to win.
All right. Well, next up we got Phillip Rivers in the building.
Oh.
Everybody's papa.
I mean, it's really cold there. He's tough.
He's a dad, man. Could this be his last game as a Charger? That is the question. We'll discuss this and a whole bunch more on Game
Kind of
Debut.
a sad walk.
There goes the squirrel. Getting ready. Sunday, week 17. I don't see any thigh, but you know, it's been a staple here.
He
on
needs
Game
a week
Debut.
off. Mike Giardi, our reporter, said his shoulder injury is worse than you can possibly imagine.
Oh wow, that is
Forearms
that
are
is deep.
looking very nice and open air. He's fine with his forearms.
Yeah, no
obviously.
problems there.
Ready for more or less?
Please.
Let's
Last
do it.
one.
Oh, it's our last Sunday.
Well,
more
he's
or
Sunday
less.
morning.
Sunday morning, yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
guys. Well, let's finish strong. Colts and Jags, more or less than 43 points.
Less. This is easy.
I'm with
Agreed.
you.
Yeah.
This is a really strong 59.2% of simulations. It is.
It's been
down
sad to see, but
less.
Jacoby Brissett can't shoot straight right now. I don't know if it's the injury, and Gardner Minshew's second act hasn't been as good as his
Nope.
first time around.
Okay,
I
we were
shaved my
talking about the
mustache.
Raiders and the Broncos. Are they going to combine for more than 41 points?
No.
I think so.
Me too.
What?
I'm with you.
You guys are
I'm winning
expecting
this final
high score.
segment.
Cortland Sutton, anyone? Heard of him?
The Raiders defense is
Noah
on the
Fant.
field. That's I
Noah Fant.
like points when the Raiders defense
I'm just going
is
to
on
name
the
people who are going to score touchdowns. Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant. There's two right there.
Okay.
Josh Jacobs, though? What is?
Well, we don't know if he's playing.
So
If
be
he
all
is, then
Broncos?
maybe he'll play.
All right.
Anyways. All right. And last but not least, Redskins and Cowboys. Will they combine for more or less
Ooh, I like this
than
one, too.
45
I like it. Yeah, I like
I
that.
don't-
points?
The Redskins don't have a single starter in their secondary available.
But they also don't have very many people playing on offense
That's true.
either.
Don't doubt Case Keenum. You know, Jeff Fisher did it. A lot of people have done it, and he's come back. He's come through. He's had a nice little career.
Case Keenum is a point machine. All right, let's take a look at some more picks for today. You can quote me on that, Cynthia.
Okay, well, up, Hawk Bowl.
Hawk Bowl.
Hawk Bowl.
I'm surprised the show didn't lead with this, but I get it.
Look, how can I both
guys
go with
are
the
picking
Bengals to get a win?
Going
Yeah.
with the natty, baby.
Yeah, get that second win.
Hey, Greg, do you think Freddie Kitchens is still the coach?
No.
Okay.
No. All right, what else we got? We got
We're
Chiefs.
on lockstep with the Chiefs. We're on lockstep with the Pack. Do you guys think
Pack
it's going to be
show.
at least 9 points? No?
Chiefs got to be playing. Yeah, I think they'll win by more than that.
All
They
right.
got to try to get that bye.
Gosh. Oh, Hawk, you and I are Bucks. Greg's a
Bucks.
Falcon.
Yeah, it's a good gym.
And
this
you
week.
guys, okay, Rams. There could be, by the way, keep an eye on that Rams-Cardinals game, too, because if they're going to sit anyone or they're going to rest anyone, that would flip my
Kyler
model for-
Murray is also questionable game time
that,
decision.
So that
there's all
425
sorts of
one,
things.
I'll probably be updating you on.
Yep, there
Just
you go.
saying.
All right, well,
Gotta
week
be right.
17 always seems to have some crazy stuff happen. So let's go bold.
Like you still wearing
Like
the
me
hands
still
right
wearing
now.
my foam fingers. It's the last Sunday. I'm going all in on the foam fingers. Let's make some bold predictions of what we think crazy will happen in week 17, Cynthia. Start with you.
Mine's kind of like a not so happy one, but I have both the Eagle. You just missed it. He tossed his foam fingers off to the side. It was very dramatic. Very
we go.
dramatic. Okay, both the Eagles and the Cowboys do not win their games, which
Wow.
means that an 8-win Philadelphia Eagles team
Oh, my God.
sneaks into hosting
That
a
is
playoff
That is
game.
disrespectful.
And
That
it
is
could be a
disrespectful.
winnable one, too, against the Seahawks. If that scenario happened and Seattle lost,
That happened
that's
to
the
the
right ending for the NFC
Seahawks
East.
a while ago. All right, what do you
Nobody
got,
wants
Greg?
to win, and only an 800.
All right, I'm going back to that
eight-win team.
Ravens game. The new nickname for my man, Robert Griffin III. RG3 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
you
Had a
Three
nice-
TDs.
Yeah, you've had a nice season, Pittsburgh, but it's all going down in flames when the Ravens backups embarrass you in
Oh,
Baltimore.
man.
You know,
Wow.
Ravens fans would love nothing
They
more
would
than
love
to root
that.
out.
They
For
would love
sure.
that. All right, so we're going to go from one of my former quarterbacks in RG3 to another former quarterback of mine, and Andy Dalton.
I knew it.
I feel like every bold prediction of mine involves Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton throwing for
Where's the
400
pony?
passing yards on his way out of Cincinnati.
Where's your pony, Andy?
I know. We should have
My
got
bold
him.
prediction. This will be your first bold prediction involving Andy Dalton to be right.
To be
there we
right.
go. There we go.
I love it. All right, well, that does it for us here on Game Debut. Make sure you check us out in our new time slot for the playoffs, Fridays, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on NFL.com and 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the NFL Network.
DVR. You can DVR us.
Don't miss
It's a
it.
nice
Don't
time
miss
slot.
it.
Hey, we're prime time now.
Great.